How's it going, guys? This is Andy with Andy's Auto Care Plus. I just wanted to go over kind of how I do my mixes on my gallons, you know, like dilution ratios, things like that. Here I got my wheel brightener. I'm going to be doing that 5-to-1. I got my Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner. I'm going to be doing this 10-to-1. And I got my Optimum No Rinse Wash and Wax. This is what I use as a clay lube. I use regular Optimum No Rinse, the regular O&R. I use that as a clay lube, and I also use the Wash and Wax one as a clay lube, just depending on the situation. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm going to mix them. I got my empty gallon containers that I'm going to be filling up. I got my distilled water just from Walmart, just by the gallon. That's how I do it. I don't have a rinse or a spotless rinse system yet. That's in future plans, but so I'm going to go over how I do this. So there's one thing I'm going to do that some people might freak out about, but you know, this is the way I do it and it makes sense to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go by the mildest chemical first, which would be the O&R. Then I'm going to go into all-purpose cleaner. Then I'm going to go into wheel brightener. Now the reason I say I'm going to do it that way is because I'm going to use the same funnel. I'm not going to go rinse it out. If I was going to go with wheel brightener, then something like O&R, obviously I'm going to rinse out the funnel first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go stick the funnel in there just like that. For the O&R wash and wax, in order to make it a clay lube, what you need is you need 2 ounces per gallon. Each capful is a ½ ounce of product. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put 4 capfuls. And actually what I usually do is I put 5 in there for a gallon just to put a little added lubrication. I always shake it up, take my product, do it over the funnel just in case you overfill this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost 5, because some of those capfuls were a little bit full. So I'm going to take that just like that. Then I'm going to take my gallon of distilled water. Pour right in there. And you know what? Actually, this does rinse out the funnel, now that I'm thinking about it. I guess that wasn't a very smart thing to say, but, you know, when I'm using the water in there, it's rinsing out the funnel itself, so not a big deal. There will be no cross-contamination or nothing like that, so it's nice and safe. So this is the way I do it. I do this usually, you know, I'll try to make it to where I can do more than one at a time, so I'm not just, you know, mixing 1 gallon here, 1 gallon there, or whatever, you know. Sometimes I have to do that just, you know, because if I run out of product or something, but I try to make it to where I can do multiples at a time to save time. Plus I do it like this rather than, you know, some people will mix it just a spray bottle at a time. This is just way more efficient. You can take your spray bottle, when you run out, you just take your gallon container, fill it up real quick, even if it, you know, it's on the fly or whatever. Some of these I actually carry in my van with me, like the mix of all-purpose cleaner. I'm going to carry that in my van with me, so that if I run out on a job site, boom, I can just fill it right back up. Because I go through a lot more all-purpose cleaner than something like a wheel brightener. I'm not going to go through a full spray bottle on 1 or 2 cars or 3 cars in a day. Not going to happen. So I got my clay lube right here, already mixed up. We're going to go into all-purpose cleaner. Now, the way I do this one, it's not an exact 10-to-1. I don't have a measuring cup or something like that I'm going to go, oh, okay, this is exactly 10-to-1. So what I do is I just take it and I look at my bottle and I just divide it into 11 parts because you have 10 parts water, 1 part chemical. I tried to explain this to my younger son, and at first he didn't understand. He was like, oh no, that's only 10. If you have 1 part, yeah, just anyway. Okay, so if you're dividing a gallon into 11 pieces, what I do is I'll visualize where I'm going to fill it at. I usually fill it out about right here. So I'm going to divide this just in my head. You know, it's not going to be perfect rocket science, but I'm just going to look at it and be like, okay, 1/11 of that is where I'm going to fill my chemical to. Usually what I do is right about here, to the bottom right there. So for a 10-to-1 mixture. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Actually, we're going to put that back down. right about there. So it's right about to where I was saying, right at this where. The good thing I like about these little Meguiar's bottles is they have this little lip here, which is kind of what I judge my filling by. So that's kind of the way I'm going to do that one. I'm going to take the distilled water. And you don't have to use distilled water in this process. I find that it's a lot nicer on, I don't know, maybe it's all psychological, but the chemical doesn't have all those minerals in the regular water to have to sit there and fight and break down. If you use just regular tap water, you know, depending on where you're at, most water, it's got a bunch of minerals and things like that in there that you got to sit there and worry about and that sort of thing. And I find using distilled water just, like I said, maybe it's all in my head, but it seems to make it a little stronger. I don't know. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. All right, we're going to use wheel brightener. I don't think I shook up the all-purpose cleaner, but that one's pretty good. Doesn't usually have anything that settles in there. Neither does this, but I just do it anyway. Always when I do the Meguiar's all-purpose cleaner, it's super sudsy, so you're going to get some foam in there. I'm going to let that settle, and then I'll top it off, that sort of thing. So, same thing. So I'm going to divide this into 6 little parts right here. In my head, of course. So, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to go a little bit above that. This is probably a little stronger than 10 to 1, but I'm going to go a little bit above that. That bottom little lip there. And this is just how I do it. It's not an exact rocket science. I don't make it like that. Honestly, I should be wearing gloves. I'm getting this all over my hands, so I'm going to have to go wash my hands immediately after I'm done. Because this one's acidic. Which means it's got a high acid content, but that's what helps with the wheels. Okay, so now we go into the water. Have my assistant go get me a wash rag so I can wash off my hand a little bit. Kind of making a little bit of a mess, but hopefully you guys are getting the point. Don't have to overcomplicate mixing these chemicals. You really don't. Especially things like this. I mean, if it's a little stronger, it's just going to work a little better, I guess. You know, some people mix this 3 to 1, some people mix it 4 to 1. Personally, I just like it at 5 to 1. You can make it even weaker if you wanted to. So, and I might not end up using the whole gallon of water. That's the other thing, is if I'm mixing it 5 to 1, I'm not going to be putting a whole gallon of water in there, okay? So I'm going to be putting the 1 part chemical, 4 parts of the distilled water. So it's obviously, I can't fit a gallon of water and a whole nother part of wheel cleaner in there. So hopefully that makes sense. Same with this one. But I kind of fill them all at that level. I'll mop up some of this right here. So that's pretty much how I do the mixing of my chemicals, or my dilutions, ratios, things like that. Don't overcomplicate it. There's no need to overcomplicate it. I do it this way. Makes it easier in the long run. It just makes life a little simpler when I'm going to fill the chemicals. So anyway, that's how I do it. Hopefully that helps you guys. You know, don't overcomplicate it when you're sitting there trying to mix chemicals. Mix it up by the gallon so you have it. One of the other things I have, let me pan over here for just a second, is you'll see that I actually have some 5-gallon containers here. That's one of the other things that I'll mix 5 gallons at a time for certain items. I have Meguiar's Super Degreaser. I have actually a product called Terminator by P&S. Fantastic carpet cleaner, just so you know. If you need something stronger than an all-purpose cleaner, this is where you go. I'll at some point make a video on that. You'll see I got some Iron X over there. One of these days maybe I'll just go through and show my products if that's what some people want to see. Over here I actually have a product that I was sampling out. It's called P&S Crystal Wash. It's kind of like a iron contaminant remover. It's way cheaper than your Iron X product here. Way cheaper. But it does not work as good. I was really hoping for more, but it's probably something that if it's not that bad of a car, it would probably work really good. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Okay, I got my chemicals all mixed. This I'm going to either store in here or I'm going to store them in my van, one or the other. Whatever makes sense for that product that I'm going to use. So anyway, hey, don't forget to subscribe to my videos, guys. Like the video if you like, you know, send a comment out, you know, give me your suggestions, you know, whatever you guys want, honestly. And if there's a certain video you guys might want to see of my stuff or whatever, let me know in the comments. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching.